Welcome back to part 2 of the char ad video, and we're just going to finish up putting the rest of our text into the ad, and then we're going to export it as a PDF. So let's continue where we left off. So we'll use that space a little wisely at the bottom, and we don't need as much space at the bottom here, and it'll be a little nicer to put in. So what I'm going to do down here, and I'm just going to make another text box, and I'll kind of draw it over here, and now I'm in preview mode, so it's not going all the way over, but I'm just going to start typing something so I see it. And I'm going to do Command A and highlight it because it's over black right now and I can't really read it. And I'm going to make it white. Now, if you needed to see it better, you could kind of just bump it up. There's some just type I put in here. Now, I could go in here and just type, I guess it was Allentown, and then a space, and then a bullet, which is on a Mac is option 8. And then a space again, and I'll do Bethlehem. And then a space, and I'll do a bullet, and then I'll put the website. Put www.char.us. I think that's what it was. I don't know if it had a com on there, but let me check. And I think that's all I need at the bottom. I think that will be fine. Now, what I'm going to do is I'll highlight it, do Command A, and I'll change the font. And since we're being consistent, I'm going to use that myriad again. So I'll look for the myriad. Here's Myriad Pro, and I'll keep it bold. Why? Because if it's going to be reversed out of black print, remember, black is the ink and white is the paper. So black has a tendency to kind of bleed in on the letters. So you want the letters nice and bold. And I spelled char wrong. You want the letters nice and bold in reverse. You don't want really thin, small letters down here. So I'm going to make this bold if I can, and it is. And I don't know if I need the tracking that much. I don't want the tracking as tight down there. So if the tracking is what I had, let me just double check and make sure it's at 0. It is. Okay, so I'm going to move this down here now. Now, if I want to center this text up and down in the box, it's in its own box, and you can see as I extend the box, it stays to the top. I can go to Object, Text Frame Options. Now, there's icons over here, but let me just show you where this is. Text Frame Options. If I go here, they have vertical justification, and I'll make it center. And I'll hit OK, and now it's in the center. Now, I can't see it right now, and that's because it's black. And I'll even move this over a little bit. And what I'll do is I'll just get my cursor in there and do it like a Command A. So it's highlighted. I'm highlighting the text. And I'll change the text color to white or paper. Now there it is. And there's my text at the bottom. And if I want to just center it, I can go here and do a Command A again and look for the center icon. And I could center at the bottom. Now, I don't know if I want to leave it like this. This is just one option. I could put phone numbers and all that, and hours and all that kind of stuff here. Or I could even kind of separate these things. I could, if I wanted to, if I didn't want the website all together here, I could almost kind of go here and just kind of space this out. If I want to kind of have Allentown, Bethlehem, and kind of put the locations and the website separate, that gives a little bit of balance at the bottom. So I could do that. I'm just putting space in between here. With center text, so that balances off a little bit. So that looks okay. Again, I want clean. What I'm looking for is clean. What I don't want is not clean. A lot of stuff at the bottom is not clean. So what I want is clean. So I'll go back here, and I haven't saved. So let me save this, and I'll save it as InDesign. So I'll just call it Char-Ad, and I could put my last name on it. I'll just put -HOMA-R, and I'll save it wherever I was working. I think I was working on my home computer, so I'll put this. I think it was in here. There's my EPSs, so I'll save it in here. And now I have it saved right now. So again, that's all my text. If I click my text on and off, there's all my text. There's my graphics, and there's my borders. So I have everything in here so far. So that's kind of what I want. Now I can put a little blurb here. And I'm going to move my graphic thing almost down a little bit. And I got that by accident. Let me click this graphic box. I'll just nudge it down. Because again, look at the way this points down to the website. And I could even make these a little bigger. They could be a little bigger now since there's nothing wrong with it. I'll do a Command A, which is select all. And it's 12 point, so maybe I'll go 14 point. And now I'm going to get rid of some of the space in between here and bring them together. Now that still looks nice and clean. I don't have to go right to the edges. In fact, having a little narrower at the end is okay. Now I have this down here. Now all I want to do here is I'm going to draw another text box. So I'm going to lock this and go up to the text layer, and I'll draw a text box here, and I could go into this view, or I could work in preview mode and draw a box. having trouble drawing a box because it's going over the other box. So I'll start from the outside, and then I'll do it there. And again, nothing's easy in InDesign. Let me point that out. And what I'll do here is I'll look at the ad, and I'll take one of these. I don't know what bed this is or whatever it is. I didn't look up, but let's just call it the NAP Deluxe Ortho Dog Beds, or K&H Memory Sleeper Dog Bed. We'll go with that one, K&H Memory Sleeper Dog Bed. I'll have to memorize that to go and type it in here. But I'll go K&H, and I'll hit return, and then what's next here is available in 3 sizes. I don't know if that's necessary or not. That may be small print. I'd rather have the size, $79.95 to $159. I think the size is important. I don't know about the available in 3 sizes. If that's important to have as the next line, I don't even know if that's important to have in the ad. Again, that's the thing that people might want to check out if they're in the market for dog beds. I don't know if having that in the ad is that important, because the ad's really just to pull you in, to lure you in. So anyway, I'm going to put the prices there, and I'll put $79.95 through $159.95. And I'm going to put it in the font that I was working, which was Myriad. I'll stay consistent because only the logo's in that kind of in the serif font, so I'll stick with Myriad, and I'll go with bold here. And it's like 12 point. Maybe I could go even a little smaller. I'll go down to 11, and for the prices, I don't know if they need to be the same or not until I bring it in here. I'm not really sure. So I'm going to bring it in here, and I'll kind of line it up with and I'm going to kind of use this little nook here next to the dog. And maybe I don't need the prices really bold. So I'm going to take the prices out of being bold, and I'll just put them back in here to regular. And if I want to put available in 3 sizes, I can just hit return here. I think this should be like 9 point or 8 point or something. And actually I think, maybe this could be 12. So I'm going to go up on that. And maybe this could be 12. And I'll just kind of bring this whole thing down a little bit. It was kind of, so it kind of lines up with the dog's head. I could even move the dog over a little. I don't want the dog to be crowded. And the dog's on the graphic layer, so I'll have to move him over a little. And you can move the box over, or you could just physically move the dog over. Remember the graphic, so maybe I'll move the dog over. But what I'm doing here is I'm kind of looking at this kind of nook here, and even this, I'll move this over, so it kind of design principle of alignment. I want to make sure that things align, so I don't want things all aligned all over the place. Even though I'm not at the margin of 1/8, I'm probably in a little bit more. So I want to make sure that this lines up with ortho dog beds. And sometimes you could have these things lined at the end. I don't know if that's that important. You could. I like it better that it narrows a little, but you could push these so they kind of go closer so that things align at the bottom. That's not a bad thing to do. Even this available in 3 sizes could be down here. You could have something here, and you could advertise other things. So I'm not sure what else I'd put in here. I think our method is the less is more. I think it's important that when you look at this ad, that it says orthopedic dog beds. You got a nice big graphic of a dog. I could probably even go a little bit bigger with the dog. And so I'll click on the dog here, and I'll go up on the dog. Maybe make him nice and big. Make him really stand out. There's my dog. I'll take him up to 135%. Here's a really nice looking dog that's kind of standing out. Now I got to look at my frame, make sure he's not getting cut off. So I'll move my frame down a little bit, but I think that looks nice. And compared to this, with the 2 dogs and the very grayish that we have there, and all this kind of things going right to the edge, I think this looks a lot better. I think this is a lot cleaner. I think this is kind of more what you want for this kind of ad. And if you need to put in more information, you have a little room here. We got a little nook here to put in something else. I don't think you need 2 dog beds advertised on this. I think the fact that you're saying orthopedic dog beds and you're showing a dog bed is fine. And you're showing the information here. If you want to put hours and all that kind of stuff, that'd be something that you'd want to talk to the company, and maybe it's a benefit. But I think having the website leads you to all those things like the hours and locations and directions and all that kind of stuff that people used to put on ads that people don't put on ads anymore. So I'm going to hit Command S. I'm going to save it. And then even when you're done, if you think, wow, this is great, I'm done with it, you can also do this. You could do File, and you could do Export, and you can save it, export as a PDF. And you could just use it, Adobe PDF print, put it in the same folder. You don't even have to worry about any of this stuff right now. Just do, I guess the preset to use high quality print is fine for what we're doing. We don't need press quality right now. If you're outputting it on a press, you would, but for high quality print is fine for what we're doing. And I'm just going to export it. That way we have a PDF version, and that's the one you can upload to your My Warren. So when you're done with it, you can upload that finished version of it. And you can make some changes here. You don't have to do it exactly like I did. If you want to try different fonts, if you want to do something else, if you don't want to flip the dog around, if you want to try some different things, maybe put a gray color in there, anything. You know, maybe this box at the bottom, graphics and lock text, so I don't grab it. Maybe this box at the bottom would look better if instead of black, if I went here and then I just tinted it down and maybe it was gray. You know, maybe something like that would be better. Maybe like a 67% gray. Not sure, but I have to make sure it was dark enough. You know, then it goes from kind of black and it goes from more contrasty to less contrasty. That doesn't look bad either. Now, if I made that change, I would have to export it again. And I'd also have to be careful because if you notice, this gray box is over top of the black border. So I'd want to make sure I go into that border area and bring this border to the top. In other words, if I can grab that border that's here, I would want to do a object arrange bring to front. So then it's on top of that gray. You know, normally that's what we do. I'm not sure, but I think that looks pretty good, and I think it's a nice clean ad. So it's a good start for us to kind of upgrade the existing ad that we saw and kind of fix some things. Not have everything, have a little more white space in here, have a little more close to the end, have a little movement, have a little flow. You know, with this kind of busy looking logo of the horse, then it kind of goes in this area. We have kind of a dynamic here. We have some movement to the ad. We kind of cleaned up some areas so it's not as crowded. Our headline stands out because it's surrounded by white space. The item stands out because it's surrounded by white space, and it fits in this little nook with the dog. And, you know, the dog's a nice, happy dog. It kind of gets you to look at it. And there's kind of a balance here. You got a big circular thing. You got a circular face of the dog. So there's a lot of design principles going on here. We're using contrast. We're repeating the same font and being consistent. Proximity. We're moving the headline down closer to the element, further away from the logo, keeping the logo kind of in its own space. And we're trying to follow all those design principles. And we even use some, you know, different tone down here to kind of adjust it because it's pulling out. Why would we use gray? Well, it's kind of pulling out the gray from there. So it kind of creates unity because now there's gray down here that kind of incorporates from the dog that's in here. So we're trying to kind of work with all this stuff, and working in InDesign is a little confusing, a little challenging at first, but this is our first attempt. So hopefully this, you know, you learn something from working on this ad.